With the recent announcement that COVID-19 is a human pandemic, I've had lots of people asking, dog owners whether they should be worried about their furry friends and whether they can actually contract coronavirus or COVID-19. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Leigh from Your Vet Online, and I thought it was about time to allay some fears because so many people have been asking this question and it's not as simple as a yes or a no. And we'll get on to that. Look, there is some evidence at this point in time that suggests that there is a very low risk of your pet contracting COVID-19. And I will explain that shortly, so listen up until the end. But it's also worth noting that there is no evidence to suggest that your pet can contaminate you with COVID-19. So why is everyone in such a panic about the health of their pets? Now, I want to start this conversation with an explanation of what coronavirus and COVID-19 actually is. So coronavirus is a name given to a whole host of viruses that may cause illness in humans and in animals. And it's really important to differentiate what coronavirus we're actually talking about, as not all of them are infectious to humans and most are actually very, very host specific. COVID-19 is a type of coronavirus that has the formal name SARS-CoV-2, but I'll refer to it as COVID-19. Okay, so the coronaviruses that we often hear about that can affect dogs and cats are thankfully completely unrelated to COVID-19. So when you hear people in the media discussing coronavirus and dogs, they're most likely actually talking about canine viral diarrhea. So just quickly, the disease canine viral diarrhea is actually caused by canine coronavirus. And this is a situation of the coronavirus that we're hearing about in those greyhounds in Queensland and New South Wales, and is completely unrelated to COVID-19. Now, coronavirus in cats is known as feline coronavirus, and this can cause mild gastrointestinal symptoms. However, some of these mutate, and that's when we can get FIP, or feline infectious peritonitis, and that's the one that actually kills cats. Okay, now let's have a little chat about how COVID-19 is spread. So we've got to remember COVID-19 is a respiratory disease, and it's spread from person to person. The transmission between people occurs via respiratory droplets, and these carry the virus all through the air when a person coughs or sneezes. And so basically when these little droplets then land and contact someone else's mouth or their nose, the virus can then enter the bloodstream of that person. All right. So people can also become infected by fomite transmission, and this is what happens when an infected person coughs and splutters and it lands onto something like a door handle, a bathroom tap, public transport handles, that sort of thing, and then a person without the virus then touches that, then touches their mouth. Yeah, so you can also pick up the virus if you're in really close contact with someone, so giving them handshakes or kisses. Yeah. Okay, due to the dog in Hong Kong that has tested positive to COVID-19, we know that there is a very low evidence that a pet could be infected with COVID-19. However, there is no current evidence yet to suggest that dogs are actually capable of spreading COVID-19. And let's just remember now, only one dog has been tested positive. All right, so there's quite a few people that have been asking about vaccination and whether there's a COVID-19 vaccine for animals. And like the very simple answer is no, there's no vaccine. There's no vaccine for humans or for animals that is protective against COVID-19. So just quickly and for completeness sake, there is a coronavirus vaccine for dogs. However, we need to remember that this is not protective against COVID-19. Please remember that COVID-19 is just another form of coronavirus unrelated to the animal viruses that we've been talking about. Anyway, so this dog coronavirus vaccine, look, we hardly ever give it because it's the disease when dogs get it, it's usually pretty mild, and we just don't give it for that reason, basically. Now, there is a coronavirus vaccine for feline coronavirus, and that one, again, it doesn't really give much immunity. It's pretty lax, basically it lacks efficacy, so we don't use that one very much either. Okay, so let's just talk about that dog that tested positive in Hong Kong to the COVID coronavirus. Right, so we know that it tested in what they called a weak positive. Now, this is a really interesting situation, and the dog that tested positive was actually in really close contact with its owners who were infected with COVID-19. We also learnt that the test that was performed is called a PCR test. And basically, this type of test isolates the presence of genetic material that contains COVID-19, and where they found that material on the dog's tonsils. So multiple positive tests tells us that the dog actually had evidence of the virus particles replicating in its tonsils. So we do know that the dog was what we call infected, but what we haven't seen evidence of is whether it's actually infectious. To know more, the dog was put in quarantine, and it's been having regular tests to make sure that to see how it responds to the virus, and also to ensure the safety of people and other dogs. At this stage, we don't think the dog is going to become capable of transmitting COVID-19 to humans, and so it's all happy days. We don't have to get too stressed, people. But realistically, what precautions do we all need to take? All right, so as far as ourselves goes, you've probably heard these all on the media. Look, we want, like any viral respiratory disease, the best precautions you can take to prevent illness is to avoid being exposed to the virus in the first instance. So avoid contact with, close contact with people who are sick, who are coughing, who are sneezing. Avoid touching your eyes, your nose, and your mouth. Stay home when you're sick. Cover your coughs and sneezes with a tissue and throw them in the bin. Make sure you clean and disinfect regularly touched objects and surfaces. You can just use your regular household sprays for that. And if you're out and about in public, get one of those hand sanitizers and use that, especially if you're on public transport, if you're going to public toilets, before handling food. Look, those that have actually got a respiratory infection are advised to wear a mask, and that helps to limit the spread to other people. Look, there's no point wearing a mask if you are healthy yourself. And remember, your pets, there's no need for them to be wearing masks, all right? But what else do we have to remember about with our pets? Look, this is a really good opportunity to take a glance at what the World Veterinary Association recommends. And basically what they're saying is that if you are infected with COVID-19, then you need to avoid contact with your pets, just like you would avoid contact with other people. So there's nothing special going on here. But if you can't avoid people, like you don't have anyone to care for your pets, then avoid cuddling them, wear a face mask. Again, washing your hands, not sharing utensils and plates, no sharing of food with your pets, sort of thing, if you are infected. Look, there's no need to be fearful of your pet catching COVID-19 or transmitting the disease to you if you are practicing good hygiene. It's all, and hey, just remember, this is no different than what we recommend in general terms with health, between looking after your pets. We really shouldn't be kissing them. We shouldn't be getting up close, because the risk is always there, not of basically COVID-19, but there's a hell of a lot of other diseases that you can get from your pets by doing things like that. All right then, guys, I hope that has alleviated some fears. If you have any questions, you can pop them down below and I will answer them. Otherwise, have a great day. Make sure you give us a thumbs up for this one. Share it with all your friends that might need some extra, you think they might need some extra advice or they need to hear this. All right, you have a great rest of the day and we'll catch you next time. See you. Bye-bye.